Hey yo, what's going on? It's your boy Man in the Wild. I was just had peeped this video on climate control, climate change, and all that shit out, and they had brought up like the storms and all that type of shit. So I wanted to look up, how does a hurricane form, right? Because the storm in and of itself has always, been kind of weird to me, just how they form and the damage that they cause and all of that type of shit. So I went on ahead and checked a few videos out. So as always, we're gonna go where they go.
Over the course of the last 2 weeks, two devastating hurricanes have ripped their way through the Caribbean and the southern United States, and a third will be coming for the leftovers. Hurricane Harvey did unspeakable damage to Houston. Irma devastated the Caribbean and Florida, and Maria is going to be the icing on Mother Nature's cake. We are pretty much helpless when it comes to hurricanes, and sometimes we can't prepare for them. It makes you wonder, how do hurricanes form, and how can we predict them? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments below what topics you would like to see next. Hurricanes are cyclonic storms of the western northern Atlantic. They belong to a family of storms called tropical cyclones. Tropical cyclones rotate around a low-pressure center, produce heavy rain, and they have winds of at least 72 miles per hour. Hurricane is the name given to the storms that form in the Atlantic or eastern North Pacific. Similar storms that form in the western North Pacific are dubbed typhoons. Hurricanes form over the ocean in places that have warm water. They grab the warm water energy and pull it into the atmosphere. But you might ask,
Okay, so like you're hearing the science of this shit, right? Like the warm waters and the vapors and all of this shit. Like this is their explanation of a hurricane now. Okay, this is their scientific explanation for a hurricane.
vapor rises into the atmosphere every day. That's how clouds are formed. What makes a hurricane a hurricane? The thing that makes hurricanes different is they need winds that blow gently high up in the atmosphere and winds that blow more strongly near the surface of the earth. Here's an analogy. Picture a hurricane like it's a bucket. It needs to stand straight up. If the wind begins to blow stronger high up in the atmosphere, that bucket will topple over. When a thunderstorm forms, it's a...
So yo, what the fuck does a bucket have to do with clouds? You understand, really? So you throwing this bucket in here to give me some scientific talk, all right, to describe how a hurricane forms. A bucket.
Result of a lot of vapor that accumulates in the air. This causes the clouds to be heavy, and then it begins to rain. Hurricanes are different from thunderstorms. They need warm water.
Because I understand like the bucket type scenario when you want to tell me that clouds fill up and that's how the rain comes out and all of that type of shit. Okay, cool. All right, but I'm trying to figure out how does that big ass storm that devastates whole, beach sides and all of that and even extends into the inland a little bit with some heavy storms. How the fuck do they form? And it's like, it seems like you're gonna get nothing but bullshit when it comes to an explanation, especially when, you're given a ball earth as a diagram as to these motherfuckers' paths and all of this type of shit. Like, yo, you really can't believe shit from these motherfuckers.
That blow vertically straight inside a hypothetical bucket and a lot of vapor in the air.
Because here you go inside of a hypothetical bucket. Like, what the fuck are you even, like, where did the bucket come from? What is the bucket and where did the bucket come from is my questions. I won't get an answer besides some glitterized shit. Because there can't be an answer to this shit when you're getting nothing but bullshit.
Thunderstorms. They need warm water, winds that blow vertically straight inside a hypothetical bucket, and a lot of vapor in the air. The ingredients of a hurricane usually come together off the coast of Africa. A wind will begin to blow in a swirling motion. This is known as a disturbance. When the sea surface temperatures are greater than 26.5 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Fahrenheit, water vapor condenses and releases heat. That heat rises and creates an inward movement of air. Then that air starts to spiral toward the middle of the disturbance. A thunderstorm begins, creating a tropical depression and then a tropical storm. More than one thunderstorm will come together and they will begin to move across the Atlantic Ocean.
So basically a patch of heated water causes a bucket effect? a spiraling bucket effect? Is that what it's telling me?
And creates an inward movement of air. Then that air starts to spiral toward the middle of the disturbance. A thunderstorm begins, creating a tropical depression and then a tropical storm. More than one thunderstorm will come together and they will begin to move across the Atlantic Ocean where water is warmer, adding more energy and more vapor. Add the favorable winds and boom, you got a hurricane. The only thing that can stop a hurricane in its tracks when it's over water is a strong wind in the upper atmosphere. The reason why there's been so many hurricanes lately is the end of the summer brings these favorable conditions. So how can we predict hurricanes? Well, the only thing you can somewhat predict accurately is the pathway, not necessarily the intensity. The intensity...
How the fuck is that even possible, man? I mean, this is supposed to be winds which are, you know, unpredictable. You know, I done seen the wind shift, you know, many a times. So how the fuck can you predict that shit? Really? You know, unless you know exactly where the fuck it's coming from. Fuck out of here.
Summer brings these favorable conditions. So how can we predict hurricanes? Well, the only thing you can somewhat predict accurately is the pathway, not necessarily the intensity. The intensity of a hurricane is erratic and unpredictable. Once hurricanes are cut off from warm water, they weaken rapidly. One thing that is quite...
So hold on. The intensity is erratic, but the path isn't? Yo, y'all not making no fucking sense.
And perhaps one of the reasons why there have been so many hurricanes this season is rising sea temperatures caused by global warming. When the sea temperatures rise due to a warmer climate, it will create more hurricanes and also prolong them. But that's still up for debate. Global climate models, which study how the atmosphere...
All right, man, y'all ball Earth shit. I'm done with that. So I went to... Let me see, which one was the other one? I wanted to see. I think it was this one.
And the point at which it begins lies deep in Africa. Here, the highlands of Ethiopia. It all starts off with a seed, a ripple high in the atmosphere called an easterly wave. Now, every hurricane season, many of these ripples travel thousands of miles in the direction of the Atlantic, but only a few ever become hurricanes. Not all hurricanes...
So hold on, so this motherfucker is saying that a ripple is what causes a hurricane that travels thousands of miles and forms. Like, that's where it starts from. You know, because they try to hit you with that butterfly effect, because I had seen that on one of the other videos. Talking about some sand rising up into the air type shit causes a motherfucking hurricane. Get the fuck out of here.
It's born this way, but it's a good example of illustrating the point. Now, key ingredients are needed for a hurricane. A cluster of thunderstorms over a warm ocean. The heat from the ocean will be the energy source, and the high levels of moisture in the atmosphere will allow the storm clouds to expand. Now, ideally, any crosswinds present high up or wind shear must also be slight. Otherwise, the storm clouds will get ripped apart, a bit like a flame of a candle being blown out by a breeze. Now, in this next stage, perhaps 2 days later, strong vertical currents of air here in the center are building even bigger storms. Air from around the storm is blowing inwards to replace this rising air, and crucially, because our planet rotates, these winds are also...
See, and then here they go, talking about because our planet rotates. All right, so the explanation that you're giving me with these damn circle bucket winds and all of this shit is the rotation of the Earth? Yo, are you hearing this shit, man? Don't take this shit seriously. Don't take this shit seriously. And since now you can't take this shit fucking seriously, you know, these motherfuckers is creating these damn storms. You understand? Devastating people's lives on some dumb shit. So get the fuck out of here.
Rotating. The whole thing is now spinning about a central point, and a tropical depression is born. Now, a few days of drifting, winds in the center are now circling a gale force. The rain clouds have expanded, the seas are rough, it's powerful enough to be called a tropical storm. And in this example, the tropical storm is heading for a region of the ocean where the sea is especially warm. So warm, in fact, that the storm will be sent into a frenzy of rapid growth.
So is this, did he just say it's sent to the, like it goes to the spot that's warm? Hold on.
Now, a few days of drifting, winds in the center are now circling a gale force. The rain clouds have expanded, the seas are rough, it's powerful enough to be called a tropical storm. And in this example, the tropical storm is heading for a region of the ocean where the sea is especially warm. So warm, in fact, that the storm will be sent into a frenzy of rapid growth. Now, 12 hours later, and the energy released from the ocean has powered up the winds to a critical speed.
So it's like, so every time whenever I see this spinning now, like, I mean, you're trying to explain this to me because the earth rotates. Like, yo, you're full of shit. You're full of 100% complete bullshit. You know, and as it stands right now, at this moment, I'm extremely insulted right now.
Now a hurricane, and seen from space, it resembles a whirlpool of cloud, and in its middle is the eye. It's a relatively small circle of calm weather, typically 30 miles wide.
You know, and then of course they're gonna have the one eye traveling all across the what's it called, the Atlantic Ocean from Africa and shit. Man, they play too fucking much, man. The one eye traveling across the motherfucking ocean from Africa. Yo, they play too much, man. Y'all on one. So, yeah, I ain't even about to deal with him. So, whenever I looked up all of this shit, you know what I'm saying, it brought me to, you know, Neil Disgrace Tyson. You know, of course, he's going to have some interesting, you know, nuggets to drop. You know, so we're going to end with this motherfucker, man, because you already know what you're going to get from him.
So what's the deal with hurricanes? Clearly the worst Seinfeld ever. Does Seinfeld imitate
you know, and putting him with a comedian, it's fitting. You know, it's extremely fitting because, you know, as it stands, the comedians, man, I mean, you want to talk about they giving us truth and they, you know, telling us this. I mean, you know, in the little, you know, what do you want to call it? The little droppers and shit like that, the little eardrops and shit like that. Yeah, they giving it to you in that. You know, all the while, you know, filling your whole shit up with, you know, nothing but the funkiest, the milks and all of that, and the most contaminated of waters and all. Just know that these people don't give a fuck about you, man, no matter what type of truth they spitting when they're, you know, mainstream or, you know, any type of mainstream, you know. Understand that moving forward if you ain't already got that.
Yeah, every once in a while, he pretends he's broke. I mean, seriously, what is it that makes a hurricane a hurricane?
Okay, so I can tell you sort of the physics of a hurricane.
Oh, all right.
The ocean, we think of as just a place to dip your feet in or to sail across or to fly over. Mm-hmm. It is a fundamental driver of what goes on in Earth's atmosphere. What's the hottest month? Not June.
Not June.
It's going to be July or August.
Right.
Part of that time delay comes about because the ocean is uptaking this heat.
Gotcha.
Okay? So one of the great drivers of everything that happens on Earth is the ocean.
Okay.
Because it's a big uptaker of many things, of heat from the sun, of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. You can just absorb it, right? And then come out later. So what happens? Hurricane season is after we have peak heating of Earth in the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
Peak heating is in June when the sun's angle on the Earth's surface is at its highest.
Okay.
And then the sun is working its way down. We're approaching fall and winter. But the ocean, which had been uptaking that heat, is now giving some of that back.
Gotcha.
And so the hotter the ocean is relative to the air, the more you have unstable air above it. And warm, moist.
Yo, you can't take a comedian seriously whenever shit's being explained. You know, period. Especially if it's a production that they're putting on. You know, so all this interested in this and hearing them explain this and explain that, man, like, yo, it's a fucking joke to these people. As it's always stated, you who listens to them and takes these motherfuckers seriously are a joke to these people.
Unstable air. Don't go there. warm,
We've been working together too long.
moist, unstable air
Yes.
is a recipe for making clouds.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Okay, so it's moist and warm. So it's moist, so it's got water vapor in it. It's warm, so it's warmer than the surroundings, so it'll want to rise. As you rise, it gets to cooler and cooler air temperatures. And when you're cool, the air can't hold that much water in vapor anymore, and it condenses out and makes clouds.
Right.
That's it. Okay? Warm, moist, unstable air, you get clouds. So, watch what happens. Where this zone kicks in has low air pressure. Well, if you're a cloud anywhere, and there's high pressure over here and low pressure over there, where are you going?
Well, I'm going over to the low.
You're going to the low pressure.
That's
The
right.
high pressure's pushing you,
It's
the low
pushing
pressure's
me.
pulling you in.
Right. It's just like
All the clouds head towards the low pressure system.
right.
All of them.
Calling all clouds. Calling all clouds.
All right, so now watch.
system.
Okay, so now watch. If you come in from the sides, all fine. You just come straight in.
Straight in.
Okay, now watch. If you come in from below, I'm coming from. You got to picture this now.
No, like he did that shit.
Okay,
to
so now watch. If you come in from the sides, all fine. You just come straight in.
Straight in.
Okay, now watch. If you come in from below.
Yo, don't take this motherfucker seriously. Right? Don't take this motherfucker seriously, and it just comes from, you know, just too much observation of what is or what ain't in life, and understanding that this motherfucker does nothing but, how can I say it, perpetuate the dumbass magic trick that is your reality. So anything that he gives you as far as words and motions and all of that, man, that shit has a purpose. And with him explaining this shit, like right now, like we're talking about how hurricanes form, right? That's what they're trying to get to, right? Just know that there's what is it? No substance to this dude, man. I mean, just look at him. Like the motherfucker's an embarrassment, yo. Like I said, Neil disgraced Tyson. That below shit, man. You love that shit, don't you?
Below. I'm coming from. You got to picture this now. There's a rotating Earth.
Right.
Do you realize the equator is moving faster than we are?
Of course.
Because it has a bigger circumference.
Like a record on a record player. Oh my
What
God.
the hell is a record? That's
I can't believe what I just
Snap.
said. A record on a record player.
Like
you kids know what that is. Go ask your father.
it's like a.
Yo, like the motherfucker ain't even funny, man. The motherfucker ain't even funny, man. And just know, like I said, with these comedians, when they put these motherfuckers on the scene with these niggas, man, like know that this motherfucker's a joke, right? Just like him. And taking them seriously, man, makes you dumb.
Merry-go-round.
Right. Like a merry-go-round.
And that ain't nothing personal. That's just a fact.
Outer horses are moving,
Faster
whatever
than the
animal
inner
it is. They're moving faster because they have a bigger circumference.
Right.
Yet they all finish one circle at the same time. All right, so watch. So I'm trying to get to that low pressure system, and I'm closer to the equator than it. As I go towards it, my sideways motion exceeds the sideways motion of the parts of the Earth I am now passing over.
Right.
I exceed that.
Right.
So I'm trying to aim for the low pressure system, but I overtake it
Right.
off to the right.
Hold on.
Wait, now I'm a cloud north of the low pressure system.
Right.
And I try to go towards it, but I'm going slower than it.
Right.
So I come in.
All right, so now this motherfucker is trying to say that the rotation, this is how they're trying to describe the rotation of the Earth, is how a hurricane forms. Motherfucker, you can miss me with all of that dumb shit, because if a motherfucker goes into a, what's it called, the little hot air balloon, they did that shit, right? You should be able to go straight the fuck up, the Earth rotate underneath of you, and you land in another country however many hours later. However many days or however long the shit, to take the whole rotation is a day. Half a day you on the other side of the world. Does that happen? Fuck no. Motherfuckers try to explain to me, because I said something about an airplane. Like when you up in the air, if the Earth is moving underneath of you, you should move. It should be different and all of that type of the timing and all of that. Because like how they say it, the speeds is different on the equator than it is up at the North Pole. or the northern areas. So, yo, when somebody's trying to give you this explanation for these hurricanes forming, yo, like, yo, they are full of shit. It's like they give you the explanations that fit the moment type shit. You understand? Because with that whole hot air balloon and all whatever people do, they'll have an explanation for that shit. I don't remember what the dumb shit was, but I know it was something because they still believing in the ball earth shit. Fuck out of here.
Also to the right, behind it. Okay? And so this forces a circulation in the low pressure system that is counterclockwise. And all clouds are trying to get there at the same time, and you have a storm. All the moisture is being gathered up from all the region.
Right.
And putting it in that low pressure
this
system.
one point in this
And we have these arbitrary definitions. If it's above this speed, it's a tropical storm. If the rotation speed is even higher, then it's a hurricane. So the lower the pressure is in the low pressure system, the more potent it is of gathering clouds from farther away. And this creates basically a circulation. And it's true for all low pressure systems in the northern hemisphere. So whatever.
I mean, yo, keeping it a buck, the low pressure system shit makes sense on account of, you know, clouds forming and being pushed here and, you know, pulled there and all of that type. All right, cool. But explaining a hurricane in the manner that you're trying to do the shit, like, yo, this shit makes zero fucking sense. Right? So since the shit makes zero fucking sense, that means somebody is making fucking hurricanes. They are creating fucking hurricanes. Like I said, sending all these one eyes from over in Africa. I mean, if you can't see the joke in that shit, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. So yeah, I'm done with this shit, man. Neil deGrasse Tyson and all of y'all motherfuckers trying to tell me about this hurricane bullshit, man. I mean, y'all bullshit is confirmed, man. Fuck y'all.